Friday, April 8th, 2022. Good morning and welcome to the Friday edition of the program Good Morning Saloon for this week, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Where they bring you this Friday edition of the program Good Morning Saloon. Musa Kamara na my name.
And my name Usman Kamara. Today inside the program, Radio Democracy will look inside concern them. We Nacoverc well body workman then get for sicker than 7-month allowance. We then say a Nacoverc not agree for pay them.
Now Usman Sanko, we come na the clinical ADRA CTC na the Nacoverc and the representing company well body workman them for can talk on the challenge them we and concern we then get as Nacoverc workman them we say and say for 7 months now they need receive their salary. Once more good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Yeah, good morning.
As I tell listeners and viewers of Radio Democracy, they are on concerns for representing company them. We now well body workman them. We work with Nacoverc on a salary issue and other challenge them. Quick one, take me through some of the happenings there in Nacoverc relating to issues that may concern.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Just like I don't see me now, Dr. Usman Sanko, clinical leader at ADRA CTC. We attached to Nacoverc. Actually, we been done the work for Nacoverc since 2020, and since last 2021 May, Nacoverc then be seized up for pay. But before I go into that, we got an official, the exception of we the workers there, all the workers there inside Nacoverc, we get an agreement with Nacoverc. We a written document we state say we forget to get a weekly allowance of 1 million euros per week. We be seen at that time stated, so every week they're supposed to pay we 1 million euros. But later on, the end of the week, okay, then it could be 4 million euros per month, which of course is true. 28 days in a month. But also again, we get another inside the same agreement again. We be say they're supposed to give you transportation and feeding inside that agreement. Then we begin work for them. Since May last year, Nacoverc ceased for pay. In fact, then defer one clause per the agreement we say they're supposed to pay per week, where they stop, no one they pay per week, they begin make a month. And since May last year, 2021, they stop for pay.
Now, you na clinical somebody, they represent the company workman and well body workman them. This payment where they talk about, is it the allowance or na the basic salary which you receive?
Now the RICS allowance, now she state inside the agreement, the RICS allowance for every worker. And we'll get 2 sets of workers there inside Nacoverc. With the healthcare provider there. We get the non-pin coded staff, we get the pin coded staff. The pin coded staff there, workers, healthcare workers there, where they attach also to the Ministry of Health. The non-pin coded staff there, then are kind of a volunteer, but we all they share the same amount of money.
How much people they talk about now?
They talk about more than 1,000 people. Where we say we don't commit to yourself. And since May to December, Nacoverc no pay we anything. So in December, we decide for get a meeting, we get a WhatsApp group, we include everybody. And this why they tell you include all pillars there, including the lab, vaccination, case management, surveillance, everybody cut across every way they into this fight, where Nacoverc get for pay. So we write a letter to the president, copy the first lady. We also write a letter to the Ministry of Health. Also, again, we copy other donor partners there. We involve human rights activists. We also send a letter to the Anti-Corruption Commission. We also send a letter to the police head. And moving forward, we later on get a strike in January relating to we money, because all the letter they will send, we will not get any result from them. They will make a strike, and then the leadership of Nacoverc then call we into a meeting when I inside January. Say, okay, now yes, they accept it, yes, they will get for pay we 9 months, and then they're ready for local into dialogue, then we'll pay we all we money. And we don't make a repeated dialogue with the way they say inside February, they say, okay, well, then inside January, they say, okay, then we'll start for pay we, then pay we 2 months. But actually, the idea is that now for let them pay we all we money together, because we don't work for. And most of this stuff they want to tell you, so some of them Nacoverc don't don't cancel contract with them, not the part of Nacoverc again. Some of them don't die. For me, so I know possible way say don't die, where they part of this workforce, but in people and then they ask for the money. So you see, and then they end up there for pay for 2 months. Just for 2 months, he left 7 months. 7 months, we don't meet from the leadership when Dr. Jambai. We don't engage them a couple of times so we money, don't know the promise. And in February, the leadership when Dr. Jambai, when the head of Nacoverc, promise we say we go get all we money. By March ending, a promise we say in two forms. Do not talk with Minister of Finance. That don't beg Minister of Finance for the Minister of Finance pay with the pin-coded staff then by the end of March. And the non-pin-coded staff then, Dr. Jambai say also, them will pay them by the end of March. And all these things will come to a rest. Not for where we go meet them again on a meeting. Any Dr. Jambai be shame because we get inside that day, Nacoverc office day.
Now, apart from the salary and other things that we highlight, we now like some of the challenges we as a doctor them we una don't get during the fight against the COVID-19.
We don't get too much challenge, me brother. Number one, some of we decide for take that risk day for go work day. And we'll be saying we they get people away, be saying they talk negative things against you during that cause. Say we they go risk life for chicken change or whatever. You understand? We say no, not about chicken change, about people in life. Someone they talk saying in life better pass 4 million use. Okay, we do dandy, we sacrifice life. Some people then get infected through the COVID. They get some people even their relationship gets problem because of the COVID. So there are a lot of things that will happen within we the workers there, but we decide for go through them. Most of we now we they pay with transport, be they go there. We be saying our agreement them promise for go with transport. We feed in more than at the facility, them promise for go with feeding. Now we also back be the feed we save. We they inside PPE for hours with the sweat, dehydrated. Now we they come out to go buy water back in the street. So all the things they will be they do them in the hoping that they go pay we.
Okay. So now feeling it disappointed.
We feel so disappointed in the government. And we feel so disappointed in the Nacoverc way government set up because one thing, this is a precedent for all the healthcare workers in this country say, next time there will be a pandemic, there will be an issue where more than Ebola, where be say the same government back again go need the healthcare workers there for let them go risk their life. Okay. Where be say we all go decide say no, do not do it by Nacoverc, we not go again.
Okay, continue for the week inside the program. My name is Usman Sanko, clinical address CTC na Nacoverc. There for talk on behalf of company Workman. We na Wellbody Workman. We attached to Nacoverc. Inside the studio again, we get Solomon Jamiru, we na the spokesperson for Nacoverc. Solomon Jamiru, the concern from the Wellbody Workman. Not today na one way don't be like over here. Go and come. What's in the happen, Solomon Jamiru, as you don't get from the representative na the studio?
Thank you. I'm glad the way you talk about go and come, because just last night when Sambola called me and I say, what they can't talk about, it's in the backlog, I think say I lost my sleep immediately because I know what in this mean. And I mean for a whole clinical lead, a whole doctor, you get for can sit down by and they talk, get an exchange on issue we get for do with the survival and risk allowances. I feel very deeply connected to it. And INSEF know that I've personally been in meetings where we don't push this and we're very passionate about this issue being resolved. You know, when COVID started, I think with the 24 months on now, like what Dr. Usman Sanko say, and this whole thing about backlog, about mid-2021 till now, I think for a whole year since COVID started in a salon, then payments were being made. But I think so we get a sense as the pandemic protracts, and then you get a lot of things in governance where they beg for attention, where they beg for resources. I think say government in fiscal space also overstretched, and I think say that eventually can affect the response. However, like what Dr. Sanko don't say, when we get with current chairman, Dr. Amara Jambai, where INSEF now a former chief medical officer and deputy minister of health, now part of the sector where Dr. Usman Sanko they represent. And I think say in the several meetings we don't hold. And based on the assurances with the current chairman of Nacoverc get from the Ministry of Finance, he be there in position for indicate to the affected workers say this is an issue where he go on for see addressed as soon as possible. We don't get several back and forth with the Ministry of Finance, and what I was saying at this program that this is an issue where the chairman particularly concerned about, we in Nacoverc very much concerned about to continue for the in solidarity with health workers, because no matter what you say, the pandemic all over the world, now a public health response we all day in, and these are people where health workers, they are the face of the response. They don't make sacrifice, and then they drive the response. So me really, I know they cherish the kind of moment that you have to be caught up in this kind of situation, forget this back and forth. However, this is a very difficult moment, and I believe, say, Chairman Jambai, even up to yesterday, 6 p.m., he did a Ministry of Finance. They lobby with them. I remember on 2 presidential task force now, we myself done day, they don't canvass, they don't make a very passionate plea on behalf of the health workers up at the level of the presidential task force for make this issue be addressed. And I think, say, they don't get several assurances now. On that basis, instead they make assurances to the health workers. Okay. So I just want to say at this point that Nacoverc continue for be committed for make sure say this issue resolved once and for all.
Okay, continue for the week inside the program. In name na Solomon Jamiru, the spokesman for the National COVID Response Center. Mr. Jamiru, you may talk about how government, committed for, pay them people here. But during the Teweden Dr. Yamin strike up now with by force, you may hopefully tell them, say, inside the same week, then go pay them. So waiting they happen during that time day to now.
Well, I see the way you quote me. So I'm a spokesperson for COVID-19. So when I talk, I convey the position of the institution. And I really want to stand by what I say on behalf of the institution. And I believe the government, by extension, definitely committed to this. Because I done in several meetings where this issue they come up. And we all, as an institution, as Nacoverc, and specifically Chairman Jambai, even today, this morning, before I came to 98, I gave him a call. And is still committed to this process. In fact, tell me, say, even today, he go in a Ministry of Finance again for push this as hard. Yesterday, I think they also get an updated list, I think from the Koinadugu, one of the districts in the north, just on this backlog issue. So now, issue we is very passionate about. We all really want to see this issue addressed. And not to salon no more. I mean, a lot of other countries also caught up in this difficulty. If you look at the Gambia, Nigeria, Kenya, from 2020 up to now, they also don't be caught up in the issues about backlog and health worker than the situation. So we believe, say, at the front and at the center of the response, we should always have health workers at the core of our consideration. And this issue will continue to receive the highest attention, not just of Nacoverc, but also of government.
Inside our last interview do with you with some other who command them way, I think come off from 18. You may mention, say, Nacoverc inside 2021, generate over billion loans. Mm-hmm. So then couple their own they generate. Waiting basically when they do it, that we make up till now not able.
Generate goes into the consolidated fund. So when you want for spend money, you want for get access to money, you get for go back to government through the Ministry of Finance. So not like a situation where Nacoverc they make boku money, what then they do now. So when I talk about this exchange with the Ministry of Finance, now that context they are in.
And earlier, where this issue starts, Minister of Finance they tell you see issue not for money, the money available, and when be done hire a fiduciary agent when the IPAO where they're responsible for the payments. When the story changed from money available to the Nacoverc boss for go lobby now to Minister of Finance for ensure say money come for pay them Ukmaya?
I really don't want to go too much into for argue with that position, but I go assure you, and I mean this is a public radio at the talk, and I want to be on record. we all accept really there are funding constraints. The Ministry of Finance accepts it, Nacoverc accepts them, and even government, we believe, say the fiscal space small, and a lot of things they beg for attention. But I believe, say, both the Ministry of Finance and Nacoverc get good faith, and we're all well-meaning for make sure, say, we'll work hand in hand for resolve this issue.
Now, the issue of COVID-19, what's in the situation of COVID in the country now that Ministry, Nacoverc get for keep about over 1,000 well-body workmen them, and today we hear about downsizing. Now we talk about 1,000 available. Somebody go like for what's the situation of COVID-19 that we need that workforce who are not able to pay?
So in terms of the workforce, let's just go through this quickly. Initially, we start with in excess of 10,000 people. We bring the workforce down to 6,000 some hundred, further down to 3,000 some hundred. Then the last one, 1,504. So the last presidential task force directive now for bring the number further down from 1,504 to 409. It currently sits around 430. We believe, say, bringing the workforce down, one, now within the context of the low caseload, we salon down the get from time to time. And so in order to make fiscal sense for retain that large volume of staff. And now, Usai Ideso, we think, say, it's a size way manageable, and because of the limited resources we government get, we believe, say, going into the future, this now a workforce, given the size, way even in terms of risk allowances and the operationalization generally, this now a size we for able for manage. Nacoverc they in transition at the moment. Ultimately, what we will get as Nacoverc today might end up being a national public health agency, so that we're able to get a predictable management and prevention of another epidemic. So that's not the transition so far, and we believe, say, this kind amount of workforce we will get for able for manage them going into the future.
All right, now Mr. Jamil, before you left from the studio, inside any outbreak, you go aware, say, doctors then get big role for play. And then kind of situation where they happen in terms of salary and other thing them. You know, things say if the country gets any outbreak, that will broke the zeal of doctors them. As you know, hear from one of the doctors say, if anything happen again, then go tell them, colleague then say, no for take part because of.
Studio guest, we na Usman Sanko in common at the clinical address CTC na Nacoverc. You don't get from the Nacoverc boss, and you don't get the concerns we in back don't raise and the constraint we EC then gets.
Yes, thank you, my brother. Let's talk about financial issue we Nacoverc they go through. We be say me people then well aware say Nacoverc na an institution where government built for this COVID issue. And during the inception of the Nacoverc, we all see how donor partners that then give millions of dollars to Nacoverc. We also see back again local departmental agencies there or local companies there also give millions of loans or whatever. We also know how Nacoverc they generate millions of loans both in and outbound travelers there. So, in this all capacity, we Nacoverc generate money. And Nacoverc C, 2021, Nacoverc C in workers then not pay them from May to December. Nacoverc therefore use more than $300,000. They use them, go rent a house na Sport Road, in an office. You get your worker then, where then do the patient, where they risk their life. You go use thousands of dollars. Go spend up by a build the way be say, no, not reach 50 way inside this safe. With thousands of workers, then they constrain. And all the money now, Nacoverc, we get them on audio where the leadership, of course, you don't attest to that. See, Nacoverc no get no money, now they're able per Ministry of Finance. All the money that we don't come in or whatever, all 20 don't generate. We don't know said no go.
Excuse me again that the money they go inside the single treasury account where before you take a make for go through the Accountant General's office, Minister of Finance before you come out.
Okay, let me say this money purely always be done they come locally and international, but it go specifically for Nacoverc the account wherever. And government they take note of that, say this money they come purposely for Nacoverc. Also all the money they don't go. We don't understand. Now that make even self, we don't several times. We don't go to the SEC office for me to Mr. Ben Kelfala for explaining and say at least put notes. But then people here who said this money don't go. But nothing. Ben Kelfala who don't travel engage more than 2 weeks. Who don't left number even Teto in secretary. Teto as fast on Monday. Me and my colleagues then we be there again. For no more able gian and insight when they apple log sure we contract later nothing. So it's like them people are no one take me serious. But we know as healthcare workers don't not cover. We know when to go get for do. We know we next step we go get for take. We believe say Nacoverc possibly maybe something then they look at and say because of now we be the risk-free life. In fact, basically we the travel tax possibly maybe something they use you as guinea pig. Because if, for example, me, I say, yes, because if, for example, me, for Bidongo, lost my life, na the facility, then me mama or me papa or me sister, they don't know for able to ask for me money. Okay. Then I want, and another thing where I want to make clear is that Nacoverc, since they don't use we as healthcare workers in the facility, now then they believe, say, then focus on vaccination and lab. But we believe so we all now one vaccination pillar and lab now one. And so we next action we go get for take, we go get for make sure so we press Nacoverc. We say no go know who shall we they come out.
Okay. Continue for the week inside the program in Usman Sanko Clinical Adra CTC Nacoverc there for talk on behalf of in company well body work commander who said he raise concern about the salary.
The program na Good Morning Salon where they come to you live from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Still inside the studios, we get Dr. Usman Sanko in a clinical lead for ADRA CTC na Nacoverc. During the time we make your statement, you mentioned say on rights to ACC and safely try for engage ACC. What are some of the specific issues them we go want let ACC look at?
Well, we go want for the ACC look at the money where international organization don't donate towards the fight against COVID-19, and also the local partners there, and all other sectors the way don't contribute money into Nacoverc. And for Nacoverc, they tell we now say they don't get no money in their account. Then they naturally be say we get that on who's all the money then don't go. So now then they want Nacoverc they look the ACC look into.
Alright. Now during the time where Mr. Jamiru making statement, he said the reason we make them rent the building we presently they occupy now because of the working space where they want for make a good for them. What do you think say Nacoverc for don't do in relation to that?
Well, me think definitely I think the opposite because the healthcare workers there now then they make Nacoverc get accolades, and so prioritizing a building before human it's so wrong. It's so wrong because even in the president in statement, part of his promise towards the people of Sierra Leone, the president, one of his statements are human capital development. So how you go prioritize a building over workers the way they make una get the accolade? Where me I not believe say that is not in place totally. So and they left we for lay we day into this kind of situation now.
Now, 7 months without risk allowance, and according to Solomon Jamiru, the Nacoverc boss, still the lobby for ensure say una get this couple. Meanwhile, in between time, waiting the lobby and una dey without a salary. What do people will expect from una?
Well, we there in talk with all we members. There are thousands of healthcare workers. They will all day together. The lab, the vaccination pillar, the case management, and the surveillance. We all day together, and we dey like every 2-3 days we dey keep meeting and see our best. We go able to make sure say them people are they able to pay with money in bulk, and we don't come on more. We don't get a plan towards that. We don't get a plan where we say. When we reach at that point there, if Nacoverc not pay we money before that time there, when we take that action there, the whole country, the president, if himself go feel say yes, then people don't deprive them, and Adame could don't decide. We the healthcare workers they don't decide for shut down most of the activities there where they happen inside Nacoverc.
Okay, as you talk about una get plans we una go take. Witness some of them plans and they wanna go take where you say the country all gonna.
Well, one we believe say the sources of the two paramount important pillars there right now for Nacoverc, now the laboratory and vaccination pillar. They don't get less for do it more with the case management. People work at the way they in the hospital. And so, then two pillars, then we all know one. We all know healthcare workers there. We all know brothers and sisters there. And we don't meet repeatedly. We believe say, if we shut down the whole lab system in this country, for 1 week, nobody is able to travel out of this country because we want to see how they go travel out of this country. For we be say no able to do COVID test, or shut down the system of lab. We be say 1 week nobody able to travel out of this country, and we shut down the whole vaccination center there in this country. We believe say they go pay with money immediately, and at that we dey try for engage.
Which level will they reach before we begin implement the actions there, or when we go begin implementing?
Well, this not soon because na meeting we don't they take place from the inside March. We don't they take place. With this meeting don't they happen, and now that make we decide say. Now last week, now we engage, say we need for make all the media outlets, they know again, because I think this way, be say, the media outlets, they don't know, say, Nacoverc get for pay. But we want to refresh the mind of the media outlets and the public, say, then people are there still OVO, so that when we they take that action, they now, for short, all the labs there in the country, and for short, all vaccination centers in this country, the people are going to say, yes, we don't over-exhausted with the healthcare worker there, and Nacoverc don't push it to the wall where it be say, thing what we not want do for shut down the lab and shut down vaccination.
Talking about shutting down labs and vaccination centers, them in negotiation, plenty stages then they, and what did they talk to at the last stage? Is it that when they want for results into this because when I don't lose faith in the system, or when I still continue for promise or open the system?
Well, no, actually, we don't lose faith in the system because one thing from the head of Nacoverc tell we say, we they get with money, we they get with money by the end of March. And so because of that it not happen end of March, we just they try for let the public know, let the president know, let whosoever responsible know say when we come out for let the lab system and shut down at this country, when we come out for let the vaccination system shut down at this country, at least the public gonna know for say yes, we don't tire, we don't guess, and this is our last resort. And then now the only tools that they now will believe so when we use them, we go make sure say Nacoverc paralyzed.
Okay, so una don't put any time frame. Say if they not pay una within the time there, una go take certain action. We they explain but so.
Well, as a member of part of that committee, we not make any time frame it, but that go happen soon, very very soon. It go happen where una go know for say all lab system don't shut down and all vaccination system don't shut down at the country. That go happen soon. But a time frame not fix it.
Okay, thank you very much, Usman Sanko. In the clinical.
The program na Good Morning Salon where they come to you live from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM.
The program we been get Usman Sanko, clinical address CTC from Nacoverc. They represent the well body work them and with the risk concern, but the monthly allowance, when a risk allowance, we then forgive them, we don't give them for 7 months now, and they call on government for help and get them couple, or else then go shut down, lapse them, and also go shut down the system so that Nacoverc no go able to do tests and do other work them. And earlier we been get Solomon Jamiru, spokesperson for Nacoverc, we respond to them concerning we according to them government still or Nacoverc still engage with the Ministry of Finance for engage them for CC they able to get this couple for pay them people here. Well, now this edition of the program Good Morning Salon go lefty for today. Plenty thank you to studio guests them we then come inside the program, and plenty thank you to producers them Alex Lawrence Kroma, Michael Sambula, and Moses Kavura and Joseph Songa. We make una see we live na Facebook, and also with technical man there on duty DJ Ahmad, and also Cliff we give you technical support. So today Musa Kamara they say bye bye.
And my name Usman Kamara.